Hey, hello.
Greetings.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Good afternoon.
How's the internet this afternoon? Hope y'all are doing well. We are
Sunny.
Invoke, and we'll just go around and say our names. I'm Nick.
I'm Zach.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Carl.
And we are super happy to be here on KMFA Sound Ideas today. We're going to be doing a quick little workshop in some improvisational techniques and some collaborative songwriting things that ideally you can either do at home, you can do with your friends over the internet, which is what we're going to do right now, and you can you can have fun with them in any variety, safely, socially distanced, in any way that you feel. So we're gonna go ahead and kick it off with some games. These are games that are inspired by our composer friend by the name of Danny Clay, and he's a super great composer. And maybe Zach, you can talk a little bit more about him as we get into it. But these are going to be some improvisational songwriting games. So take it away, Zach.
Just gonna write it up on the whiteboard here. Hopefully you guys are all
Yes.
seeing this.
Look at this technology here.
I know I'm going
That's
out
good.
of screen really 1 second. Let me grab this and let me
Beard's looking great. It's coming in nice.
if I can get it.
No,
No,
Beard
filling
is
up
still
good.
in screen.
It's still on screen. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
so that's all that really matters. We don't need to see your eyes, just the beard. It's fine.
Oh, nice.
It's
Big.
like those witness videos with the garbled voice. So they can see your eyes and they know who you are.
Yeah.
All right, so we kind of worked with Danny Clay about a couple years ago, 2017, I think. We were at Stanford pre-collegiate program in California, and we brought Danny in to work with some students we were working with on the collaborative compositions that they were doing. And we found that his tools with musical games really opened up everybody's minds to creating something that had a structure but felt really easy and not intimidating if you didn't know exactly how to play an instrument. So we're just going to do a couple, or I'm going to introduce a couple of these tools, and then we're going to get to working on them. We'll do some demonstrations amongst ourselves, and then hopefully you guys are following along at home, and we'll be doing some with you, your friends, and your family. So first game is a pretty universally known one. It's called Mirror, and it's really simple. Actors use it a lot. But I'm going to ask Jeff to demonstrate a visual mirror. So I'm just going to start moving, and he's going to just mirror exactly what he sees, and then maybe interpret it differently. But just mirror my motions, Jeff.
I'm in a chair.
Okay, nice. All right, so now we're gonna twist it up a little bit. So that's mirror on a visual to visual basis. Now we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna do audio or like sound to sound. So Nick, if you want to imitate,
Happy to do it.
sounds. And
Are we
maybe
with instruments first?
yeah.
All right.
So this is just violin to violin. Cool. And then now, like, I'm going to change it up. Maybe you stay on the violin, and I'm going to use a different thing, and you're going to imitate it as best you can.
Awesome.
So dramatic effect, I got my power drill here. Let's go. Cool. So that's something completely different. Obviously, this is a power drill. If you're going to use this at home, kids, make sure you have parents' supervision for sure. But you can use this and try to imitate it with different things. So now, for the final example of mirror, I'm going to ask Carl to help me out here. I'm going to do some visual stuff, kind of like what a conductor is doing, and then he's going to imitate using sound, and he can use his viola, he can use mandolin, or whatever he wants to do. So I'm just going to go ahead with it. So here we go. Great. So that's mirror. The second game we're going to play is called Build. And the concept is really simple. We're just going to be building a chord or a sound or some kind of thing like that. And we're going to do it us four. So I'm going to start with myself. Jeff's going to add in another sound. Nick's going to add in a sound. And then Carl's going to add in a sound. So let me get another little something here and figure out what I'm going to be doing. So, all right. This is called Build. I'm just going to start. So here we go. Okay, that's a build. Let's do something maybe a little bit more sonorous, guys. Let's do like a...
Hey, you chose that one, man.
Yeah, that's my bad. My
Without
bad.
any structure, you never know what to expect.
So let's do. This is just gonna be. I'm just gonna build a chord, and then we'll see what happens with it.
Maybe we should have started with that.
Cool. So that's like a simple chord. We just built it. Everyone was just paying attention to what the other person did. So you don't really have to like know if it's like a G chord or a C chord or anything like that. You can just make whatever sound you want. All right. Now with build, we're going to add another element to it. We're going to define what the build is going to be. And I was actually gifted this little toy box by Danny Clay himself a couple years ago, and in it he has it has a dice with descriptive words on it. So I'm just gonna roll this dice, and we're gonna see what comes out, and I'm gonna say what the word is, and then we're going to try to build a sound that imitates that word. All right, here we go. So I'm rolling the dice, and the dice says senses. All right, let's see what happens when Invoke plays a chord that is about your senses. build. Very
I sensed
simple.
Felt it.
While we're doing this, by the way, guys, I would like you guys virtually to maybe in the comments put some descriptive words that you think are really cool. They can be scenes like waterfall or desert oasis, or it can be like an emotion like really happy or really, really sad or something like that. Or colors, purple, blue, green. We can get as abstract as we want. Just start sending them our way, and we're going to get to them in a little bit, but I just thought I would get those cooking. And then the final game we're going to play right now is called Trigger. And not like a trigger that's traumatic or anything like that. We're going to be using this to help create a structure for our musical soundscape that we're going to be creating in a bit. Trigger is really simple. It's just an event that you predetermine that signals moving on to another event. So we can use this with build. We can have, I'm going to just make a new whiteboard here. I'm going to make a basic structure using a trigger. So let's say we want to start a piece. We're going to need a trigger to start the piece. We're going to go into a build, and then another trigger is going to happen, and we could do another build and another trigger, and that would end the piece. So that's a very simple structure that we're going to use to doing it. Build triggers can be anything. They can be a clap, they can be a yell, woo, or stop, or go, or whenever I play this figure on the violin, that could be a trigger. It's just a thing that happens very quickly and succinctly to show that we're going to move on to the next thing. So, with that in mind, we're going to now create our first musical game. Let me just do another one. So, or first soundscape, I should say. And have people been commenting yet, or no? I can't.
We have one.
Okay.
Thanks, Todd.
Yeah, and so
Thanks,
what?
Todd.
Did we say why we wanted them to comment build ideas?
Yeah, so right now, if you guys are going to be throwing in build ideas or descriptive words or things like that, we're going to use them right now to create a couple different soundscapes for you guys as demonstrations of what you can do at home. So we just got one word, ecstatic. Anybody else comment?
Not just yet.
Okay, so the word is, I'm about to spell this wrong.
It's spelled in the chat, man.
That's like whenever I ask a question of someone and they're like, you could just Google that, and I'm like, but I just kind of wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
feel
fair.
that. Is that ecstatic, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool.
Ooh, we got some good ones.
Blooming hibiscus. Man.
We got grape or okay, well, it's one at a time. We got some good ones though.
Nick, you choose
We got
some.
some great ones.
All right, so ecstatic. Do you want to do one more word?
Yeah.
Or
Sure.
Let's combine the purple bear.
Yes.
It's a great
purple
purple
bear with a
bear.
top hat and a monocle. A great
That-
purple bear.
That also is ecstatic.
Yes.
Oh, so that's one thing?
Yeah.
and Jeff, let's have you lead off what this is going to be, and just tell me what we're going to do and how we're going to build this soundscape for our lovely live audience with a top hat, right?
Yeah. They can spell. Good job. Good job, us.
Top hat.
Yes.
All right, I keep on forgetting to bring this closer to me when I'm speaking. So we have to start with a trigger of some sort, right? So definitely starting with a trigger. By the way, for people at home, the way I'm coming up with this is sort of random, and that's kind of how you develop the skill, is just try things. So definitely start with the trigger, and that will be when I start playing, and it'll be Arco. So when I start playing, that's the trigger. First thing we're going to do is a build that's quick, and well, ecstatic is the word, so let's use that as our build word. Let's go in reverse score order with Zach as proverbial first violin, meaning me, Carl, Nick, Zach.
Okay. So we're going to go in order, reverse order. So you're going to go Jeff, then Carl's going to join, then Nick's going to join, and then I will finish that. Okay.
Yeah. Just to have a structure to the order of the build, let's make that one pretty quick. And then the next trigger is when I switch to pizzicato. And then let's have everybody mirror me on our stroll through the wilderness. Because the great purple bear is obviously strolling through the wilderness in his
Most definitely.
ecstaticism. Ecstatic. Never mind.
Okay.
No, it's
want
a
me to-
build, but it's a mirror. Come on.
Build mirror. I got that. And
Oh yeah.
then-
Okay. Yeah. And then the next trigger, let's say, is I'm gonna
Let's just end on that one. That's a pretty sizable one, right? Do you
Yeah.
want to do a trigger to end?
yeah, I will thonk my water bottle.
Okay. Thonk is the trigger. I like it.
Funk.
There you go.
Honk.
It's good. Oh man.
Okay. So right now we're going to be demonstrating our soundscape number 1, an ecstatic purple bear with top hat and monocle strolls through the forest. Jeff.
The magnum opus
Take it away.
All right, let's do it.
commissioned by KMFA.
And
I don't know. That was more of a thwack than a thunk, I would say.
Yeah, you know, maybe I should use one that doesn't have like a rubber stopper at the bottom, dampening all the vibes.
All right.
Well, that was cool. I think we represented an ecstatic purple bear very well.
Thanks.
I don't know
I
what
really
the internet
like-
thinks, but I think we
I
did a
really-
great job.
We got some rock on signs from Chris. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
I really liked the first build. It had like a very Paul Bianco lift vibe to it.
Oh yeah, the beginning
that
of
was
Lift.
nice.
I almost forgot how that piece started.
Kind of ecstatically, I think is actually the word.
Yeah.
That. All right, so now we're gonna do another one, and Carl is going to be our soundscape leader.
You know, I'm having trouble seeing the chat words. Just do we have some new ones up that someone could throw at me?
Blooming hibiscus.
Ooh.
That's gonna be real dark.
Why?
I'm kidding.
It's like,
Okay.
who's our edgelord? Who's got the darkest personality?
I mean, obviously Zach.
Obviously, Zach. Okay, I like blooming hibiscus. Let's roll
Okay.
with that. That's kind of cool. All right, so yeah, let's do blooming hibiscus grows a beard.
That are so psychedelics.
That
No,
is perfect.
Just the flower growing a beard, my man.
Yes,
Yes.
it's just normal.
Just normal
Everything's
stuff.
fine.
Yeah, it's great.
And should we do this one with no instruments or with?
Yeah, so I know that I believe it was it Graham that did the video where he was helping people create instruments at home? Graham Reynolds?
I think so.
It was Graham. Yeah. So we've also decided to home source some instruments as well. I have I have 2 bottles, and they make, I think it's a 5th. This one's a little flat, but you know what you're gonna do. Let's see. What does everyone else have?
Anyway.
I have a jar, which has a little. It's like one of the push button pops up jars, so it kind of got a ring to it.
It's like Snapple. That's nice.
And I guess I could shake. No, it's like floury.
It's too fine.
It's too fine. Yeah, it doesn't. But anyway, what do you have, Jeff?
I have a book and that water bottle, the Thonkin water bottle.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And a plastic bag.
Perfect. And
That's
that's
great.
good.
Courtesy of Target.
ASMR video for
God,
everybody.
Jeff.
So I have my handy dandy Black & Decker lithium power tool, and then I have my, since we're doing a
real
thing about
homemade
beer,
instrument.
I have my beard trimmers. So this is going to be my 2 kind of percussion.
Okay.
I got 2 sounds here.
I think I got it. You guys ready? I got
Yeah,
this.
let's do it.
Trigger is gonna be. I'm gonna whistle.
Okay.
Sorry, Zach, give me a chance to write.
Yeah,
First
got it.
build. I have a bit of a narrative here. I think. Okay, it's coming to me. All right, I'll whistle, and then we're gonna build. Jeff first. Nick. Zach, me. That build's just going to be the hibiscus itself. It's blooming, so just the blooming hibiscus is that. Yeah, flower. And then trigger is going to be. I'm gonna do this. So low bottle.
Okay.
Low
Carl.
bottle.
Gotcha.
This is going to be the. Then we're going to do a build. We're going to do a build that's the sound of a beard growing.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, I don't know how that works, but well, something will happen.
And that's where the artistic freedom comes in.
Yeah.
And then trigger, I shave my beard off on camera.
Oh no.
Trigger will be. Let's see. Trigger will be. I'm gonna drop a paperclip into one of these bottles and shake it around.
Okay.
Cool.
Then the next build is gonna be the hibiscus shaves off its beard,
Okay.
Okay.
and the order there is gonna be Zach, and we're all gonna mirror Zach.
He's actually going to shave off his beard. Is this
Zach,
like...
No, I'm not gonna shave off my beard.
shave it, shave it.
Oh.
Oh no. That's gonna be a mirror, and then the final trigger is going to be. Let's see.
Are these builds all in the same order?
Well,
Sure.
that one, yeah,
It's a
sure.
mirror. Yeah.
Except
Same
for,
order.
obviously, Mirror Zach.
Yeah. And then the last trigger is gonna be. I'm gonna start whistling again, and we're out. I like this.
I don't know if
There we
this
go.
actually. Okay, cool.
Let's see if
All
I
good.
might be able to move the. I can I'll scoot our faces over temporarily here.
Sorry.
Cool. No, it's great. It looks great. What a
All right,
piece.
Should we try it out?
All right.
It's gonna be
Let's do it.
our magnum opus.
shaving off my beard. Oh no.
That looks good. Better shave, Flower. I'm Flower's friend.
Wow.
Well done.
Subversive art making, man.
Oh, nice.
Oh no! So yeah, that paperclip really got lost in that big bottle there. I think it's really in there. All right.
All right. So, should we have about another at least 10 to 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Should we do another quick one? Or
Yeah,
should
why don't we do one more and then like 5 minutes of if anybody has any questions or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Maybe let's do a little bit more of a hybrid of tonality, like at least one person on on an instrument, and then
Yeah,
oh,
let's
that's a good
mix it
idea.
up.
Yeah, let's
Let's
do
mix it up.
like 2 and 2 on instruments and homemade instruments and other instruments and real life instruments.
We'll grab this guy then.
How about Nick? You tell us what we're doing.
Okay. If anybody is in the chat and has some new ideas, shoot them out. In the meantime, we'll just we'll riff on one here. So soundscape number 3. The trigger will be a snap pits. A good old snap pits. For those of you who haven't seen a snap pits before, it's where you take up the string and you kind of snap it against the fingerboard like this. So that'll be the first trigger. And what's the soundscape here, guys?
the overall
Throw out-
theme.
Let's see.
Well, we could do
Maybe like
personalities. Wait,
We could do
the word thonk.
the word thonk. Okay, first build is thonk. Build on the theme of thonk.
Variations on a theme of thonk.
Yes, and actually, snap pizzas are quite thonk-esque.
A car about to break down.
That's great. That's pretty good. Okay, so actually, I feel like thonk is
Yeah.
that's about what you'd hear first. Something that your car is falling apart.
Yeah. And the snap pits is probably a bad sign as well.
That's your
Yeah,
brake
okay.
lines going.
There it
Brake
goes.
lines.
Okay. So the next trigger will be scratch tone.
Can you show everyone how that works, Nick?
Yeah. So scratch tone
Kinda
is
cool.
where you use too much pressure that it stops being a note and it just starts being a scratch. So like note, well, something like that. So that will be scratch tone, and then let's do our next build being pieces of your car falling out the bottom of your car.
Oh no.
Be sure to write that out in its entirety, Zach, so
Yeah,
we understand.
yeah.
He's gonna do it.
Pieces of your car.
And let's see. So the next trigger will be Colenio, which is this. And then let's do one more build, which is the sadness that your bank account now feels
When you have to repair your
when
car.
you have to repair your car.
I'm too scared to check my bank account. We should post that link in case anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Todd, Soundscape brought to you by Volvo Austin.
Hey Volvo, if you want to sponsor us,
Yeah, hey.
and
We'll take a
KMFA.
car. All
I
right.
don't think any of us have Volvos, but we would love to have one. Okay, and the final trigger will be what's a good one? Oh, facepalm.
Sure.
Okay, so Nick and Carl are on more traditional instruments, and Zach and I are messing around with what we
Yeah.
got in the room.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Um,
let's do it.
Sir, that's going to be $550 to repair those brake lines. I don't know what we're going to do about that.
That's pretty good.
Nice job. That was pretty good. Yes.
Oh, I love it. Right on.
I found this like tube of something. I don't know what's in there, but
I really felt like
Sounded
we were
cool.
in the mechanic shop at the end there. That was quite.
Yeah. Oh, with the drill is perfect.
It was just perfect. And just the murmuring, that reminded me of the teachers in the Peanuts. It just gives you like just enough information to understand what's going on. Awesome.
well, we have like a couple of moments for questions or comments, more comments, or anything else, or requests.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. This is super fun to do. This is a version of a workshop that we actually do live, and this is our first time doing it not live,
Yeah.
which is really fun. But it's a way to involve all types of different music making that doesn't necessarily have to be like trained music making, which is super fun for us. We've done this. We've done the version of this workshop with students who have musical experience, some who don't have musical experience. So it's really fun to be able to do this in all different all different types of environments.
I just had a thought, and if anybody's at home with their family or friends or want to do this online and record something and send it our way, we'll totally post it on our channels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
That would be really awesome.
You kept them like under a minute, but shared what the form was and everything like that. That'd be great.
There's a thing we do with the kids and the students whenever we have them do this, where we don't have them tell the other groups of students what the theme or what the idea was for their builds, and then everyone tries to guess after hearing it. So if you want to post and not say what your build is, feel free and have people guess in the comments. It's also super fun.
Are the construction workers contributing to our soundscape, Zach?
Yeah, if you heard, I'm in my bathroom right now because outside my window they're putting on stucco and hammering all sorts of stuff. So
And they're finally trapping him in there, thank God.
Well,
So,
they really fit in with the broken car motif, so.
have we used this technique? Yeah. Actually, sort of, because if you think about it, what these games are just sort of the bare roots of compositional technique, right? You have a way to start, you have a way to transition, you have a way to end, and you have ideas in between. So I think we haven't used this specifically more than finding it out through Danny and sort of realizing how applicable it is to like the way that we compose anyway. It's sort of like stripping away the complicatedness of what composition is and just bringing it back to, bare bones. Like, this is the structure, these are the tools you use. So that's why it's super relatable for non-musicians or kids that don't have a lot of training yet. It makes it all very relatable.
yeah, we did a thing for, if you guys were watching Sound Ideas 2 weeks ago, I think Steve Parker was on, and he does the sound spaces in the Blanton, and he asked us to write a piece about the human body somehow, and so we kind of turned it on its head and we did a piece about the game operation, which wasn't exactly like what we just did with the trigger build trigger, but we did improvise. The way we wrote those songs was that we improvised on a theme of the different parts in operation. So we had like the bread basket, we had the what was it, frozen, the cone,
The funny bone,
the
there's
funny
the
bone, yeah.
butterflies in the stomach.
So those were like the
many.
idea, or those were the soundscape ideas, and then we improvised a little song about a minute or 2 minutes long each. for
And if you
all
wanted
the-
to get meta, the triggers there were the actual in-game of people playing operation. When they go for a certain item, the trigger was that for us to start to play. And then when they got it or when the time ran out, that's when we stopped, and that was the trigger to end. So that structure kind of fit too. So yeah, maybe that is a good example of when we use this.
Yeah, it's a super fun way to tap in Yeah, like you said, Jeffrey, it's a great way to tap into our creativity. It's a fun game that you can play that just has no real like end goal, but it just warms up the creative process and really gets you into that improvisatory type of mode.
Yeah, and if you're really present while you're doing it, you can find so many little gems and ideas and like the things that you just like even the things we just did. I heard some things that were happening. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So, if you're even if you're a serious composer, a professional composer, you could use something like this to get over writer's block, I'd imagine, or you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But definitely approach all of this with a sense of just abandon, throwing caution to the wind, because it is kind of a form of improv, and I know that word is icky to some people, but you just gotta just like use a power drill and just make a rhythm with it, or just pick something and go for it. Doesn't really have to be good yet, and you can determine whether or not what you just did was good after the fact. But the fact that you did it was what was important.
Very true.
KMFA asks, when you don't do this, where else do you find your inspirations? It's a good question. Kind of all over the place. I mean, we actually do, I would say, a version of this when we're creating certain types of things, and that's how we like. For example, the Austin Chamber Music Center asked us the past couple years to write film scores for them, for basically rescoring classic, or whichever film we chose. Last year we chose Fantastic Planet. It's a 70s animated film, and we actually improvised in kind of this way while the movie was playing, and we used much of that in the final version of the score. But and we just grabbed random things. I think Zach had a can of instant oats or something like that. I was shaking it around, and we had water glasses which we were bowing, and Zach was hitting, and there was a vase or something, and a lot of those things actually ended up in the final product. So we use a version of this for a lot of different creative projects that we do.
Even
Yeah, I
quote
think
unquote
another-
normal. Yeah, go for it.
Well, I was saying another way that I find inspiration is definitely through stories, because I'm so like I read a lot of sci-fi fantasy novels. I play D&D, and so I'm like really into the idea of like narrative and story. So especially with the film scores in Fantastic Planet, having that kind of story to write off of was inspiring for me. I find that I'm usually better at composing, better at creating when I have a story in my head about what I'm going for. So story is a big inspiration for me. So that actually these little builds are like tiny little stories, and I like they are like they almost become these tiny little narrative vignettes unintentionally. So that's something really cool about this.
For sure. Should we call it, you think?
Yeah,
Unless
if no one
anyone
else has any more
has
questions.
any other questions? This
Yeah.
was super awesome.
Yeah.
Huge thanks to KMFA for asking us to do this, and for keeping us creative even when we're hunkered down at home. So thank you all for watching. Oh yeah, Carla says, tell us when you can hear a concert. The answer is tomorrow night. We are doing 7 Central tomorrow night, and every Friday night for the foreseeable future we're doing what we're calling Invokin' Pieces, which is the 4 of us performing little solo sets from our homes, and having just a general hangout, and playing a little bit of music. And you might hear Zach's been reading some poetry, there's been some electronics, and all sorts of fun stuff. So that's tomorrow at 7, and you can see it on our Facebook or Twitch or YouTube, and all our Invoke Sound. So if you use twitch.tv/invokesound, youtube.com/invokesound, and facebook.com/invokesound, maybe?
I think
I
so.
don't remember.
I think so.
Or it's either invoke.sound, but just
Yeah, something like that. But
Google will point you to the right place.
exactly. And yeah, you should be able to check that out tomorrow. That's at 7. And then Oh, Catalina says, why invoke? Zach, you
Uh,
want to?
Yeah.
That's a big question.
Sorry for the banging. Tried my
I
best.
also I hammered the music
Oh,
stand
yeah.
with my mic on it, so that might have been that.
Invoke,
Oopsies.
real quick before we go. Invoke, our name is Invoke because of the Book of Toasts from 1904 by Mira Antrim Thomas, I believe is the name. And the first toast in the book is an invocation. And it was something that we like to say at gatherings and when we were hanging out. And we were looking for a name that Grandma would be proud of, as well as not necessarily needing a string quartet attached to the end. So Invoke is what we came up with, and definitely, come when we can see you again, Catalina. Come up and we'll tell you like a more fleshed out version of that story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it's that sweet spot of your grandma can say it, and a marketing company wouldn't get a headache over it. Like that's really where you want your name to fall, somewhere in that line.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's convenient because even though this wasn't the first goal of the name, it works because we're kind of calling upon the higher power of music to bring people together, and which is what the definition of invoke is as a verb.
Yes, perfect.
Well, thank y'all for
Challenges
being
of,
here.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And thanks again to KMFA. And we hope to see many of y'all tomorrow night at Invoking Pieces. Until then, check y'all later.